Axerrio business software. Hi everybody! In this video I want to show you how to create and send bouquet quotes based on cost price calculation of the recipe parts. First we open up the module in the sales menu and then choose Bill of Material for price periods. Then the software asks us to choose a bouquet we want to send a quote for. I choose the bouquet color catcher. The system opens up the screen where we can define the bouquet recipe parts and cost pricing for certain periods. On the left here we see the periods. At this moment in my demo we defined weeks, but you can define any periods you like to. You can choose for days or month or whatever period you need. When I choose another period you will see that the recipe or bill of materials changes. We have other prices, we have other products that are part of this product. I go back to week 30 because for this week I want to create a quote. In this part of the screen we see the recipe, and as you can see that there are products that are defined, chrysanthemum, Gerberas, but we also see like Chrysal, we see the sleeves, and also we see the services that needs to be done, like add sleeve, cut stamps. It's all in the recipe, so not only the product but also the services. Then we see an expected cost price for every product and service. For the product, the system gets those prices from another part of the system where you can define and calculate cost prices. When we ask the system to get prices from the trade articles, he will get the pricing, the expected cost prices for this specific period. Then we see how many units of this product or service needs to be in this recipe. So we see 10, 6, and here add sleeve 1 and have 20 times cut stamps. And after that, in this column we see the total cost price for that part of the recipe. Then another important part is the waste. Here you have a 2% waste on the Gerberas. That means if you have 100 stamps of Gerberas in your total production order, we will calculate with 2% extra, so that will change your cost price and also the amount of product that will be allocated to this production order. In the production part of the screen, we see here in the middle of the right part, we can define the manufacturer if there's a third party that does your production, otherwise it will be your own organization, of course. Then you define how your product is built up in its packings. Like we can say we have 100 buckets and in every bucket we have 4 bouquets, so a total of 400. The packing in this example would be the bucket. Then we have a calculated cost price. So the system will calculate a cost price based on the recipe we have here, all the components, and of course maybe some extra cost price calculation parts that are linked to the manufacturer and or the packing. We can write down the operations here that will come back on the production order list and screens, so the people who really do the operations can read the special things that need to be done. In the sales part of the screen below here, we can define the sales calculation for the quote. So we have a prices template based on a customer or customer group, where if I open up its properties, I can show you that you have a price calculation you can define with all kinds of markups, have transport calculations, clearance, packing, well, all kind of calculations you can define here. Then we can enter the packing information at the sales part. So here in the production we created 100 buckets with 4 bouquets in there, and now we say we have one box with 4 of those buckets in there. So you sell one box with 4 buckets with 4 bouquets in those buckets. So you have 16 bouquets in the box. The system comes up with an advisory price based on all this information, and you can set up a selling price and see your margin. As long as this yellow guy keeps smiling, you're doing well. And if we have a higher cost price, and I will show you later by changing cost price and parts of the bouquet, that we can get higher than the advisory price, and then the yellow guy isn't that happy anymore. Okay, then we see here the price lists we already have sent. So those are just earlier quotes in this period for this product. You can discard quotes, you can send them again and create new quotes. I will show you later. Okay, so let's change some recipe parts. So for this week we don't like the 5 chrysanthemum. So I choose this line and say, well, let's get rid of it. The system will recalculate the cost price and we get an enormous margin, of course, but it's not a nice bouquet, so we need to add another product, and I can do that by add article part. So now I can look up another product, so I will try to find a nice oriental lily. So what do we have? I have all oriental lilies. I like the white ones, so I have the white ones. And what we see is the yellow lines have a cost price the system can get from another part of the system. And I don't want a too expensive one. I choose the Dame Blanche. Okay. I like 5 pieces of that. And please calculate with a waste of 1%. Furthermore, it's okay. So by doing this, I added more than €6.50 to the cost price, which made our yellow friend crying here, because the cost price went to almost €14, coming up with an advisory price of $19 US, and we have a selling price of a bit less than 16. So we need to change the recipe, and I can change it right away here. I have 5 stamps now. Well, let's change it to 3 and see what happens. We're just underneath the advisory price. We have a 12% margin, but I like a better margin, so I think if I delete 2 of the 6 roses, we still have a nice bouquet and have a 20% margin. So this is what I like. We have less stems now. We have 4 stems less, so I can make this 16 also, making my margin even better. So what I'm gonna do now, this is the recipe I like to quote my customer, so I will ask the system to generate a quote for the customers that are linked to the price list template. In this case I just have 1 customer, so please generate this quote for my customer. The system generates the quote. You see it's here. This is the new quote, and if I had this checkbox checked, it would be sent already to the customer. I didn't check it, but I can look it up and send it afterwards. So we have a nice bouquet. You can add photos, as you can see here. You can add text, which is all in the system tables, and your quote will be sent to your customer directly, automatically. Okay, this is how you create and send bouquet quotes based on cost price calculation of the recipe parts. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out Axerrio.com to learn more about our great business software.